Hey, this is Sasha.
My name is Andre, and we're from the band. Let's do it again.
Hey, this is Sasha.
I'm Andre.
And we're from Major Moment.
And you're listening to The Loud Spot. Let's do it again.
Hey, this is Sasha.
My name is Andre.
And we're Major Moment.
From Boston.
Hey, this is The Loud Spot.
You guys can cut it up and like.
Hey, this is Sasha.
I'm Andre.
And we're Major Moment.
And you're listening to The Loud Spot.
Warning. The Loud Spot podcast uses adult humor and adult language in its broadcast. It may be unsuitable for younger audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Also, we are idiots. Please don't take anything we say offensive or to heart.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Loud Spot. We are here with Don, Sam, and filling in for Diego today is my good friend, Robert.
I like how he says, my good friend. That's not what he said before we even started recording.
What'd you say?
Yeah, he says, that guy that lives around the corner that, we have to fill in. That's what it was. Yeah.
You forgot that I knew you all
That's
together.
more endearing than I was.
I did forget that, Don. I forgot that Don even had met him before. Anyways, on tonight's show, we do have a band coming on later called Major Moments. They are originally from Russia, and you can tell when they talk that they're originally from Russia, but now they live in Boston, Massachusetts. Then we have simulation discussions, conspiracy theories. I love a good conspiracy theory. We have some songs, and we got some music news for everyone on this episode. Let's get into, do we live in a simulation? Robert, this is why Robert's here. This is yes, it's exactly why you're here. Because these other people on the show don't understand conspiracy theories.
Well, so I guess you could call it a conspiracy theory, and I think I'm more so here just not for the conspiracy aspect of it, but maybe the more like kind of I guess technical, like scientific side of it. That'd be fair. Because I'm not.
No, you are. The only reason why you're here is because it's another frame to fill in the four squares. That's that. Come on, that's the reason why you're here.
Well, I look good in this little square, so I'll
Hollywood Squares, Loud Spot edition.
So
I want to read a little snippet that I took, and it says, and people, when you start talking, do you live in a simulation? People think you're probably stupid, you're crazy. There's no way to not prove that you're not in a simulation. Like you could be in a simulation. You can't say you're not.
Right.
In 2017, a multidisciplinary group of researchers at the University of Washington proved that they could embed malicious computer code into physical strands of DNA. Now, think about this. 100 years ago, that would have sounded absurd. In today's world, with technology and micro things and shit like that, it sounds more plausible. So if we live in a simulation, does that mean we're getting controlled? Do we have free will? Or are we controlled by something else? And whatever happens is not really our own idea. We just think it's our own idea.
If somebody is controlling me, then they need to pull their head out of their butt because I'm over it.
Yeah. And they're
I need a new person right now that has control.
They need to up your credit score. And,
yes, they do. Yes, they do. They
life a little bit. Okay, so
I think if we're controlled, it's a role-playing game, and you can't just do that. You have to live it.
Yeah, I mean,
he has a sixth sense of
humor. There's no game cheater codes over here.
You got to think about like the closest kind of sim type game that would come to mind, which would be like literally The Sims.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can just leave the game running and like all your little sim people, like go about, like they make their own choices, but really the people creating the sim have more to do with like the code, like the structural level of the game. And I think when it comes to like, is the universe a simulation? It's more about the laws of physics, things like the speed of light, like those are kind of what would be the code that was created.
Sure.
And all the people and all the life and even stuff that's like inorganic, that's just sort of following the code.
But
it's doing what the code.
Could you not see a game like The Sims, which originally was called Sim City back on Nintendo? Okay,
right.
Could you not see our creation as humans on this planet? We're creating AI now, right? Artificial intelligence. Could those games that we play today, 500 years from now, also have emotion and feeling and almost have free thought?
I mean, so yeah, and you mentioned earlier, like there were like people used to think you would be crazy for believing in this kind of stuff, but if you follow like there are like well-educated, like respected scientists that actually give a lot of credence to the idea of a simulation. I mean, the first person that comes to mind, just everybody knows him, is like Elon Musk. Like obviously,
yep.
He's a smart guy. Like nobody can take that from him. But he's a little out there, which I think is part of what makes him so successful. Yeah, I mean, it's Elon Musk.
There's a lot out there.
Yeah, and it's not totally ridiculous. So
I don't think it's happening right now. I think it is something that my kids' kids will probably be living in, to where they will have their own simulation of that type thing. But I don't think it's happening now. Yeah.
Well,
okay.
If it's happening in the future, then it's happening now.
Yeah.
Like it can't just start happening. It has to always be happening.
Let's take a look at the article itself. It says, multidisciplinary scientists. In other words, scientists that were bullshitted their way out of the scientific community.
That's not what multidisciplinary means.
You tell them, Robert.
What does that mean?
So multidisciplinary just means that like they might have a biologist and a physicist and different science disciplines collaborating together.
Robert made fun of me before the show, saying I didn't even know what that word meant when I read it.
I thought that's
no
what
one
it means.
in the show knows what it means.
I thought they were laughed out of. I thought they were laughed out of the scientific community.
I mean, that's what it means. You would have to look at their individual credentials, but it doesn't mean that they're a group of like fringe scientists.
Oh, okay. All right. So, but we can all agree that with deep fakes, AI, all these kind of things that run simultaneously within our own existence here on Earth,
right,
whether or not we're actually in a simulation or we're not in a simulation, the reality is we are living it. So to us, the individuals, and Don's already said they need to straighten up their stuff, because her life is not the way her simulation should be going. So fix her credit score. And
I don't need credit. I can survive without credit. They just need to fix some other things.
Okay, fine. Give her more money, whatever. All those kind of things.
I'm not material. I'm not materialistic.
Think about this. Think about this. Okay. I was talking to a friend of mine named Amy.
I'll never get my thought process through the whole.
You will. But think about this for a second. If Earth is one density and there's multi-dimensions in this Earth, and I would believe that there's our multi-dimensional things in this Earth that we cannot see.
Go ahead and say flat Earth too, Sebastian.
No, I'm not a flat earther. No, I'm not a flat earther. If there's other things that live amongst us that we just can't comprehend and cannot see, to me, what that is like is you're on your phone, make believe the phone's a universe, right? And you have 5 different apps open. Maybe you got Facebook open. You got TikTok, you got a game of pool, YouTube, and something else open, okay? Those apps don't know the other apps are open. They can't comprehend those other apps because the app is only made for itself. So if we live in a one density with multi-dimensions in it, that's almost like, to me, I could compare that to something like a computer or a phone where you don't realize there's other things going on around you because all you understand is your own reality. But that would mean that maybe somebody made it for us. And if you believe in God, wouldn't God have made us his simulation?
I think that kind of gets into the whole, like, well, if there is a God, then who created God? And if someone created God, like there's kind of like an infinitely.
Does God have a God?
But so at some point, like the Christians or whatever religion I don't want to get you canceled by the Christians. But like they have
canceled by the Christians. That doesn't matter.
They have to make a decision to stop questioning at some point, and they decide that point is just, well, God doesn't have a God. He just always was. But there's no logical reason that, you can't take it even further.
Could we all be our own God one day if technology and AI advances so much where we're creating our own worlds? I mean, there's people buying, what do you call it? Property. Oh my, like online property. What's that? Like what would you call that? Like not real property. It's like video games. Oh my God.
NFTs?
Yeah, it's like virtual land.
Virtual property. People are doing that now, and there's a market for that. If you're buying virtual property, then you create your own like sim type game. Would then you not be the god over that game?
I mean that I don't think so.
Right?
Because like, are you saying like, what if we just got to a point where the civilization, like, there's like a Disney movie where all the characters are just sitting in chairs and they have look like virtual reality goggles on.
The Matrix.
And,
no, I was kidding. That's
I don't remember what movie it is. I want to say I think it's like Wall-E or something. But anyway, all the characters like literally like their whole life is just like they just sit in a chair and they just live in a virtual reality. And it's not like they're, a god, but they're just sort of.
But maybe they're not a god, but wouldn't the people that they have created or whatever, wouldn't they see that person as a god?
That's, I mean, that. I can see that. I can see that. I can see that.
Something so bad. Only an egotistical man would want to know if he's going to be a god.
No. We're talking. We're that's fine. That's fine. I'll give you that.
You're my best friend, but Lord. But my question is with your theory of all these dimensions and us not knowing about it, what's your excuse for people who can see? Like spirits and everything. Those spirits are in another dimension. So how do you explain?
They cross. I would say that maybe there's times where those spirits and other worldly beings cross over into our dimension where we can comprehend them for a small amount of time.
Yeah, but
okay. Have you ever seen like I was watching this show where this guy was getting he was riding his bicycle in a crosswalk. A big truck comes to hit the guy. All of a sudden, the guy disappears out of nowhere. The truck slams his brakes on. The guy's not even anywhere to be seen. I would say that he lived in another dimension, accidentally crossed over. Who's to say that we didn't accidentally cross over to somebody else's dimension at one point, not even realizing that we've done that?
That kind of gets into the Mandela effect, which people would posit is an argument for living in a simulation. That, different like collective false memories are just examples of some kind of slight shift into a very close parallel
alternate reality.
Yeah. So
you want to know my theory on that one? It's just the government trying to wipe things and make us look like we're crazy.
I don't think it's the government. I mean, when
it's somebody scrubbing the internet. Because all of a sudden now the stuff's not on the internet.
I don't think
so. And so it's just,
I don't think those in particular
can you not
are
scrub
like
the internet though.
No, you can, but to the point of like mass delusion and collective memories, like I think those could have much more empirical explanations. Like, a very common one is like the Berenstain versus the Berenstain Bears. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like that's one that you got to admit, like that could just like a lot of people could just kind of get that wrong.
To me, Shazam's a big one. I remember Sinbad being in a movie.
Right.
That is part of my childhood too, because like that was like around the time when I was growing up, and I have very what I thought were like vivid memories of that. But then there was also another movie that I saw that I'm like, well, like I could see how if everybody was kind of at the same age, like I don't know, like we could all just kind of be getting a little confused. So, but I do think that there's something explainable about the Mandela effect, but it is interesting.
It is, and we're gonna play the new Kingdom Collapse song here in just a little bit called "Never Be Like You" before we get into our teachers getting fired for OnlyFans. accounts. But I will say that I forgot what I was going to say.
I love his segues. Sometimes his segues. So let's go ahead and take a look at Kingdom Collapse's new song, "Never Be Like You," right here on the Loud Spot, and we'll be back with our talk about OnlyFans. And,
but I'm going to think about what I was going to say, and
yeah,
I might say that too. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Fit in, I am not a cool kid, never give a fuck about any of that bullshit, and I don't care if you approve. I'll never be like you. I never fit in, I am not a cool kid, never give a fuck about any of that bullshit, and I don't care if you approve. I'll never be like you. I'm just an outcast, living out my dreams, and I will outlast. What you think of me, don't give a fuck if I don't fit in, 'cause I've got nothing left to prove. I'll never be like you. Misfit, fuck you. You say I'll never make it, I'm not anything like you. 'Cause every single time I've done it without you, I'm headed to the top, talk shit if you have to. When will you realize I thrive on the outside, where I'm far away from you? I'm just an outcast, living out my dreams, and I will outlast. What you think of me, don't give a fuck if I don't fit in, 'cause I've got nothing left to prove. I'll never be like you. I never fit in, I am not a cool kid, never give a fuck about any of that bullshit, and I don't care if you approve. I'll never be like you. Never fit in, I'm not a cool kid, never give a fuck about any of that bullshit, and I don't care if you approve. I'm just an outcast, living out my dreams, and I will outlast. What you think of me, don't give a fuck if I don't fit in, 'cause I've got nothing left to prove. I'm just an outcast, living out my dreams, and I will outlast. What you think of me, don't give a fuck if I don't fit in, 'cause I've got nothing left to prove. I'll never be like you. I'm not a cool kid, never give a fuck about any of that bullshit, and I don't care if you approve. I'll never be like you.
I remember what I was going to say. I remember it now. Going back to the Mandela effect. And if we live in a simulation, think about this before we get on to the next topic, okay? Think about this. Think about this. If we all, as a collective, remember one thing, and now everyone's mind has shifted to where that doesn't exist, but we all remember one thing, wouldn't that be someone controlling the game and changing the code of the game and changing how it was written to where we all think one thing and it no longer exists anymore? Wouldn't that make sense?
The government making us crazy.
It's not the government. It's not the government.
Well, I mean, I think kind of a counter argument for that is like, you know, I don't think there's any one example of the Mandela effect where like the totality of everyone alive is affected, you know? So it's like, at that point, it's like, well, why does it affect some people and not others?
Do you know, honestly, it's the Generation X that's being affected because everything that the Generation X remembers the Berenstain Bears, the Fruit of the Loom, the Shazam. All of that is from our generation, and it's like they're trying to wipe it. If you go back and look at all the dates whenever those things originally came out, they are all Generation X people.
Yeah, but that's because we're so far. The future would tell that story because there could be some Gen X or Gen Z or whatever the hell other gens there are, that their thought of what they remember has also altered.
Well, the boomers never had that problem.
They didn't care about it.
My parents are
That's
boomers, and not one of them have ever said that, oh, this stuff happened, but you can't tell that now.
I don't know. When we did an episode on the Mandela Effect, my dad was giving me examples of stuff that he remembered that has not been the same.
Was it from whenever he was a childhood or whenever you were a child?
When he was a child in New York City, not when I was a child. Sam, can you fix the screen?
What's wrong?
We're not all.
You guys are touching.
We're not
each other's
touching.
penises.
We're not penis touching.
They like to cuddle sometimes.
Yeah, I was wondering if I clicked the wrong. See, we got to go through and delete some of these
Layouts.
because there's just too many.
I kind of like touching your penis, Sam.
See, I told you they like to cuddle.
Now, me,
Well,
you know, talking about simulations and talking about
penises.
Mandela, my life's on pause. So, and I responded back to the original spot that I'm supposed to respond to in the game. So that's where I'm at. And I live with blinders.
So I think Sam's whoever's controlling Sam's life probably died.
Yeah, they did. They did that.
And he just left the game on, and Sam's just like roaming around.
That's it. I'm an NPC just kind of roaming around, running into buildings. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
If you see some guy running in a building over and over and over again, he's just like walking like he's playing a Grand Theft Auto or something. That'll prove our theory.
You go to fucking Meridian by I-40. That's NPC galore.
Yeah. So you know, my life is like that. It's like no more bands, and then here comes another band, and it's like well, I'll pick up another band and help.
You know how many times Sam has said, "I'm not dealing with bands anymore,"
no more,
and then next thing you know,
every year,
2 months later, he has another band.
Every year. I did take a good 8. I did took a good 8-month break and to refocus and then refocus on the loud spot and help Sebastian. Let's get where do we want to go, Sebastian? Let me usher it to where you want it to go. And then now I'm back to sucking up more bands. So go figure.
Well, you know, it's
not sucking off more bands. Not sucking off, Don. I knew your brain went nasty there.
It's not your fault, Sam. Blame your controller over there. Hey,
yeah, I know.
You have no free will, man. You are what you're supposed to be doing because somebody else said so.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe. All right.
Let's talk about OnlyFans, man. Come on.
Yeah, OnlyFans. You know, teachers. I didn't know this. Apparently, teachers have a code of ethics that they said. Robert, weren't you a teacher?
Yeah, but most jobs have some kind of.
Okay, now hold on, Robert. If you were slanging your wang around, would you have been fired from being a teacher?
100%. Well, yeah. I mean,
if they found out,
I can slang my wang around, in the privacy of my own home.
Why wouldn't you slang your wang?
I do, but the moment it's in some way public, it it's a different story.
Okay, well, I am a woman, okay, and I have seen multiple stories of teachers, women particularly, getting fired because they had an OnlyFans. I personally don't have one. I will never have one, but that's because that's me. But kudos to the women who are brave enough to do it, and hey, they make bank. But my thing is what they do privately outside of school is nobody's business, for one. For two, yes, it's on the internet, so the world can see, the world can pay. That is adult. You have to be an adult to get there. So it's not like she's flaunting herself to children. Okay. You have to be a certain age. You have to have a credit card to get an OnlyFans. Now, granted, there are 16-year-olds that work and have a debit card because I have one myself. He has a debit card, and
I would have slayed my wang to my teachers back when if I was in high school and I found that OnlyFans, I would have definitely slain my wang.
You slang the wing all the time, but it gets nowhere.
The number one
pays for it.
The number one reason why these ladies are saying that they have one to begin with is to compensate their income, because teachers do not get paid crap. I mean,
they do get paid crap, is what you meant.
They do get paid crap. It's a double negative. You can't say.
You know, she's from Oklahoma, so you gotta
have my accent. Okay.
Y'all.
Yes, but they're subsidizing their income. So if they don't want teachers to subsidize their income by outsourcing themselves on however they can, then maybe they should up their pay. I mean, they are supposed to be teaching our children. More money should be going towards education.
Okay, but here's the deal about that. You can supplement your income but I'm not against teachers doing OnlyFans. That's hot. Like, that's fine. That's cool. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. I'm saying there's other ways to supplement your income besides showing your tits.
Tell me how. Give me one example of how somebody
bartending.
who
go apply to Dollar General in the evenings.
So they have to work themselves double hard by pulling 2 jobs. They work one job that they have to get up at 6 and then turn around and go to another job.
Okay, I'll play devil's advocate to myself. This is for all the teachers out there. When the
slanging your wang,
slang your wang. when the teachers are done at 2:30, 3 o'clock, they're not done. They have to go home and grade papers. So OnlyFans is something you can do from your own home. You grade your papers and show your titties online. You know, it's fine. But you can't go work at Dollar General or Walmart in the evenings when you have to grade papers. But okay. Anyways, I see your point.
To Dawn's point, I don't think it's so much about the 16-year-olds with debit cards seeing their wang slanging teachers. It's not about the students accessing the content. I think it's more about
parents.
What?
It's about the parents. It's about the parents.
I don't know. I don't even think it's about the parents. I think it's that you are a
representative
role model to children while they're at a very impressionable time of their lives, and
but the children aren't supposed to know anything that they're doing in their home. It's not like
they are.
This is not like the day and age where something like that can really be
hidden,
buried.
Yeah.
Like if it's on the internet, and especially if you're in some like the public eye like that as a teacher, like that gets around quick,
right?
And you know.
Once someone sees it, it's out there. Like if anyone sees it, knows they're a teacher, they're gonna put it out there, and then boom, it's gonna explode. But should you get fired?
Yes.
No. But here's when I want to go back to my point about kids being impressionable, because I'm not trying to say that there's something like wrong or kids at that age aren't like, I would say, developed enough to understand the nuance of the sex industry.
I'm sorry, every child has heard their parent go to town.
I've never heard mine.
That's completely different from understanding the nuance of sex work. Like, you can be a sex worker and, you know, like, not have to be ashamed of what you do or anything like that, but it's all about
you know what's fun? You know, I'm gonna stop you right there. What I think about this is the guy who, I mean, it could have been a girl. I don't know. I'm just going to assume it was a dude who fired the teacher. Okay. He probably was out there watching that video slanging his wang and then fired her after he was jerking off to it. It's probably what he did. Probably saw it, and people are like that. He's like, well, I'm done. All right, you're fired.
Right. Well, I to build off of what Robert's saying, he's saying, look, you're a representative of this company, teaching our children, and what you're doing is not a bad thing. We're not against what you're doing. The problem is these kids are going to know what you're doing, and they're already going to be talking about it, that they're going to not focus on education anymore or learning in the classroom. They're going to want to see Miss So-and-so's titties. That's what they're going to probably think every time that they go into her class. If it's a her, and if it's a guy, they're like, the girls will be like, oh my God, I seen Mr. Whalen, and he's all in his hot body and his tiny micro
No girl is
penis.
looking at some dude's nuts, dude.
I know. I agree. I agree with
16-year-old
you.
girl in high school is gonna look up her teacher, but every 16-year-old guy is definitely looking at their.
Well, and that's the function of the classroom is to learn. And when you have this piece of information that your teacher is involved in this kind of work, and in some way you can access it, like it creates a dysfunctional environment in the classroom, because that's how kids are. It's not because there's something wrong with the teacher or the person with the OnlyFans. It's just not conducive to the function of the classroom. I think she, from the article that I read, kind of knew that that's what was going to happen, but she was making like 3 times as much money. So
so quit it and focus on OnlyFans and make that bank, boo boo. That's what we're saying.
It's kind of cute. I might subscribe.
Yeah. No, you won't.
I don't have an
You're cheap
OnlyFans
ass.
account, but if I did,
and you're cheap, and you'll be like, if it ain't for free, I ain't paying for it.
That's right. I got Pornhub.
And like there's all kinds of other concessions that we have to make for our jobs, that, you know, like if you have a safety related job, like, you know, that you can't do drugs even on your off time,
right?
You know, like there's all, I mean, like Sam, for example, like you're a truck driver, there's all kinds of stuff you can't do in your free time.
I can't do it
because
I would
you need
like
to maintain some level of standard for your job.
There you go.
Right.
Okay, but drugs are one thing, because drugs will alter your perception, will alter your ability, your function.
Okay.
Drugs are separate, different in my eyes than taking a photo of me topless.
It is, but it affects.
Here's a good example. When I choose to park at the end of the night somewhere, I don't park at the roadside strip clubs. Why? Because I have this big old thing that says the company logo on it, and I don't think it's a good idea for me to be parking at a place that.
But at the same time, people are going to assume you're a truck driver. You're going to be there anyways. Either you're there or hanging out with lot lizards. It's not that surprising if a truck driver is at a strip club or something.
Yeah, well, they're called adult bookstores. Let's remind that. Unless you're in Florida, there is one Rescue, I think it's called. They have a big truck stop, free showers. Never been there. Want to stop? I am going to stop before I get off the road. I'm going to stop there one of these times. But I'm just saying,
take me with you.
It's one of those things where I think it's not a good idea for the company. It's not a good look for the company. So I'm not going to do it. And the same thing goes with the OnlyFans. You being a teacher, I don't think it's a good look for you. And honestly, more power to her. She's probably now been able to focus and get more creative with their OnlyFans to attract more clientele or more membership.
She's making
100%. It was good for her business.
Yeah.
It was probably it could have even been calculated.
That's right. So now all those guys are like, ooh, she was a teacher. Ooh, dirty thought.
Exactly.
Let's give them another fantasy.
Not ugly.
Yep, that's it.
Let's get into some music news real quick. We're running out of time before the band comes on. Blink-182 played at Denny's, which I guess Denny's is kind of like a thing for the punk rock industry. I didn't realize that till Blink-182 played there, because I knew that there was going to be a festival, Sam, that we were going to go to called When We Were Hungry.
Yeah,
that never happened in Vegas, and they were trying to get Denny's to sponsor them. It wasn't until I saw the article that Blink-182 played at a Denny's in Long Beach, California. I was like, oh, is there a connection between punk rock music or pop punk and Denny's? And apparently there is.
Yeah. So what really makes me mad about this is you and I both know that this was all PR'd sponsor. Everyone, everyone in there was probably VIP, you know.
They weren't just eating breakfast at Denny's.
Right. Yeah. And so it wasn't like the first one, which happened in Santa Ana. Yeah, it's Santa Ana, which is over by Anaheim. So it wasn't like the original version. They tried to replicate this, and I think that's what makes me mad. Like the whole thing I'm reading, it's like, oh, you lying sack of beep 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 beep. You know, even though we cussed a lot and
beep 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 beep.
Yep, beep. That's the problem I have. It's a PR push, and it's and trying to look all cool. Like, you know, just get your butt back up with your $300 tickets and back up on stage.
I mean, if you look at the audience, no one there looked like they eat at Denny's on the regular. You think Denny's
No,
looked like senior
exactly.
citizen mostly,
No.
and
It's
they
gonna
were
be
like all punk
broke-ass
rockers,
college kids.
Yeah,
standing
they're the ones that are there at 3:00 in the morning after the bars close. Come on now.
It's
yeah.
well, Denny's is strippers bartending folk. They're after 2:00 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then I would say kids on a budget, but that's not true too, because Denny's is pretty expensive these days.
No,
Like,
it's
on a
not.
budget.
$15.99 a meal. $15.99 a meal.
No,
and you
it's
can
like
make a meal
$6.99 for the Grand Slam or something.
The kids on the
You
budget
haven't-
go to Waffle House.
That's cheaper than
Waffle
Waffle House.
House.
Denny's is cheaper than Waffle. I hate Waffle. Fuck you, dude. I don't like Waffle House.
You gotta be
Sebastian,
drunk and it tastes amazing.
Sebastian doesn't like Waffle House, Shoney's, or anything that doesn't have fine dining. If it doesn't have napkins made out of cloth that are rewashable, then he's not eating there.
And other music news, before we play this song by Gavin Dance, who I didn't realize was a rock band, honestly, till just today. Creed has announced a 2024 tour. I don't think they have any new music, though. I think they're just playing
there's no new music.
with arms wide open.
And they're actually touring with Three Doors Down, Daughtry, Switchfoot, Tonic, Big Rick, and Finger 11.
Oh, Finger 11 is going to be there.
Yes.
There is new music coming. You're just gonna hear it with the tour.
All right. Well, Sam would know. And then also Steven Tyler, he was on tour, apparently broke his tour vocal cord or cords. I don't know how the throat works.
His vocal cords were injured.
Yep.
due to
And
his-
tour is going to continue in 2024, hopefully, as long as that is healed. I knew we were going to talk about music news eventually. We got Major Moment in the studio. Before they come on, we are going to go ahead and play Gavin Dance with their new song called War Machine. Right now, a lot of
Risking your position when you feel like you're invincible. Kid with intuitions and something they should missing a ball. Give ourselves permission to be pitiful and miserable. Our business is to walk the line and make this death original. Who wouldn't beg less than attention? I can fake being vulnerable, or I can laugh up my life is bland. You weren't afraid, you were grateful.
All right, we are here with Andre and Sasha. I told you I was screwed up. From a band called Major Moment, originally from Russia, now I believe in Boston, Massachusetts, right?
Right.
You got it right.
Well, the band is originally from Boston as well. It just the two of us are originally from Russia, and I'm our bassist as well.
Hold on, but aren't both of you the singers of the band?
Yeah.
So that okay. So if you're the singers, so was the band around then before you joined the band?
Good question. No, there was some there was a baby stage of something, of some kind of a band that I auditioned for as a vocalist, and then everybody quit this band and it became Major Moment.
Okay, they're like, these Russians, we need them in our band right now.
Right.
You know what? I heard your song for the first time. I don't know if it was Toxic, or is that the one playing on Octane right now? Is that Toxic?
Yep.
That's
It
right.
was Toxic. It was about maybe a week ago or so.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I was driving and I was listening to Octane, and Major Moment comes on, and I was like, how do I know that band's name? I was like, I think they're coming on the podcast. And I went to my calendar, I looked, I was like, they are coming on the podcast.
And here we are.
And here
Very
you are.
cool.
Yeah, great song. Tell me about, did you know that Octane was going to start playing your music, or was that something that just kind of happened?
So it's wild because it's still hard for us to believe that we're like in full rotation on Octane right now.
Yeah.
And like, not that we never could have imagined it, but we definitely didn't expect it to be to this extent. Their support is amazing, and we're super grateful for that. But we found out that we're being put on test drive literally the night before.
Wow.
Vincent, the program director, reached out to us. Well, there's a little bit of a backstory to that. So we met him backstage at Louder Than Life, where we performed as well.
Did you touch wieners? Sorry.
No comments on that.
Oh, you did. That means you did touch wieners. Okay, go ahead. What's the whole backstory there?
Yeah, so we met backstage and touched wieners, right? One thing led to another. And now I have to play the stupid game. You know what I'm saying, right? Like, that's all good. He has a great sense of humor as well.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. We're about to find out if our streams on Octane stop after that. It's gonna be like, that was it, guys. Thank you. The first and the last.
Yeah, your stream stopped as soon as we air this. No more Major Moment.
Right, exactly. So we just chatted like for a few minutes, and then we happened to have a few CDs on us of our upcoming album, and we approached the festival like any festival, not only like from the perspective of our performance, but it's also like a great place to be and like meet people and like a great network opportunity. So you never know when you're gonna need to give somebody something, like whether it's like a business card with a QR code or a CD, right?
Yeah.
When we left Boston to go there, to drive to Kentucky, we actually forgot the CDs. Well, or we didn't think about taking them, but I just happened to have a few CDs left in my car, and that was it, and we brought them that day, and we didn't know that we're gonna meet Vincent, and we met Jose as well, Jose Mangin, right? But we met them both backstage, and we just chatted for a few, gave him a CD and said, hey, we'll appreciate any feedback. Let us know what you think. Like, obviously we didn't ask to be on or anything like that, but, I guess they enjoyed the music and they said, well, I like this song and we're going to put it on test drive tomorrow. I'm like, holy shit.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
And you guys are married, right?
Yeah.
Not me and Vincent, no.
Do you right here on the show? Yeah, you two are married. I mean, you touch wiener, so you never know. You never know. When you first came to America, was that your plan to get into a rock band? Like, was this your your grand scheme of we're going to come to America, get in a rock band, get played on the radio? Like what even drove you to come here and get into the metal scene and the rock scene?
Yeah, it actually was for me. We have a slightly different story here. So
Right. We came at different times.
We came at different times. I came here at 2006, right? And that was originally my plan. I'm just gonna start a band, pursue my career in music. So we started writing. Me and my friend, we started writing. Who's also from Russia, by the way. We came and started writing some demos, but then the reality kind of kicked in. We needed to pay bills. Mm-hmm. We needed to find the second job, third job, and then one thing led to another in a different way. And I found myself running a business. And then I was like, why am I running a business for somebody else? Might as well just run my own business, right? So I started my own business. Then I started the second business, then the third one. And then little do you know, time flies by. And like 10 years later, I was like, well, wasn't I supposed to start a band? Like, what the fuck am I doing? Right? Yeah. Like, the money is good, but like, what am I gonna say to myself? Like, right before I die, like, oh, you fucked up, buddy. Like, that's what I'm gonna say. Like, you never achieved anything you wanted. Like, all this money is, what are you gonna do with it? Right? It's not, it's not going to do much.
So you guys met here then in the United States, right?
We did.
That's true. Okay. Yeah. When I was traveling to the US for the first time.
Okay. So Sasha, what was your plan when you came out here? Were you already into metal music when you were, because I don't know what kind of like Russian music. I don't know if there's metal like there is here than there is there. I have no idea.
We're never fans of Russian music or especially rock music. Okay. Russian.
There's this like a specific genre called Russian rock.
Okay.
And it's slightly different, and like it just wasn't our cup of tea. It's not terrible. It's not bad by any means.
Different.
And it's just different. And we were always like fans of like Western.
Well, we actually met because of Linkin Park.
Yes, that's true story. That's a true story. We're both like lifelong fans of Linkin Park, and.
Yep.
Please continue. I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. So I came a few years after the 2014. I think that's when I visited the US for the first.
8 years.
Yeah.
And I met Andre, and something clicked, and I moved to the US. Before that, I was a professional tennis player.
No way, really?
Yeah.
So cool. Her plan was to go back to Russia after that trip to Boston. Like she didn't like plan on meeting me, or like she didn't plan on starting her own rock band or none of that.
But I always loved singing, and I was actually planning to become a #1 tennis player and then release my solo album.
It almost happened. almost to the T.
Do you still play? Oh, go ahead, Robert. Go ahead.
Hey, I have a question for Sasha. So, what are your thoughts on pickleball?
Oh, I love it. I teach pickleball now too.
Oh, get out. Yeah. No, we have like a little
she hates
pickleball court over here in our neighborhood, and it's actually gaining.
Pickleball is awesome. You don't have to hate on pickleball.
Well, I think it's like very accessible, right? Like it's a lot of people can play it. Like you don't
definitely the entry level is very, very easy, and it depends who you play with. It definitely can get a little boring, but the more you play, the more fun you have. I mean, it's the same way with everything.
Well, you consider yourself a pop metal band. I think that's what I read online. I don't think you have very many metal people that play tennis. I like tennis. I like pickleball a little bit more. It's a little faster paced. Kind of a
what?
I like tennis too. But do you still play? Tennis?
I teach tennis now. Yeah,
she teaches tennis for a living.
Do you teach Andre tennis?
She tried.
I have to ask a question. Is that why you came to, I mean, I know you said you came to America to do your music career, but is it because you knew that in Russia that it wouldn't set well because they do have their Russian rock and you're, like you said, more into the middle? I mean, Is it because you didn't think that you would get as big in Russia, and that's why you came here? I mean,
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. Partially, yes. So first of all, I was in law school for 4 years, right? So I quit my senior year. Like I figured.
Hold on, you played tennis. She plays tennis. You were a lawyer. And now you guys are in metal
I'm
bands.
very much a failed lawyer.
A professional tennis player and a failed lawyer, still a lawyer, and now you guys are doing metal.
Well,
That
it
is
sounds
crazy.
like
Lawyer
so
wannabe.
You didn't
Right.
pass. You didn't take the bar.
Hey, you know what?
No.
It's
Yeah.
it's the American dream. It's the American, it's the American
Right.
dream.
So
being a lawyer in Russia is like, what can be worse?
yeah, basically, I saw that in the books it's one thing, on the streets it's another thing. Like technically, it would be my job to fix all of that, but I also saw like the structure of like how the laws work in real life, and how corrupt the government is, and like everything that leads up to it. So I was like, well, and I kind of think about it often, right? Like, what would be if I stayed there and I tried to change the system? Would I be dead right now? Would I be in prison, or would I be able to change something? That's an interesting thought that sometimes I'm having. But music, like the music that I wanted to play was different from what was popular, but also in a way, because Linkin Park was massively popular in Russia, for example, right? Yeah. So a few other bands had some success playing stuff like that. So it wasn't only like limited to Russian rock and like whatever, right? But did I think that I would have more success here? Yes, I did. And it's I just didn't see myself living there, honestly. It was depressing, and I wanted I wanted to go on an adventure and conquer the world, or at least try to.
I think that both of you have a very unique and interesting story. Congratulations on getting played on Octane. I mean, that's a big, step up. And this is a step down coming onto this podcast, really.
Not true.
No. I did got to ask one question. I saw on Facebook, you said, take that, Dropkick Murphys. And somebody played the reaction to your song. What? And I watched the video. I watched a clip you put on Facebook, and I don't understand the Dropkick Murphys with your music. So what was that all about?
It's just the fact that they're from Boston. That's all.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. I was like, the only
we have literally nothing in common. We have nothing against them. They're doing their thing. We're doing our thing. Obviously, a completely different, genres, completely different audiences, but they just happen to be from Boston as well. And they're like one of the most famous bands that are originally from Boston. You usually think of like Aerosmith, right? And obviously Boston. And then the next one would be.
I think of Clam Chowder. Honestly,
is that a band?
Music. I think like
what do they play? No, we love Clam Chowder.
I love Clam Chowder. Let's play your song "Toxic" right now. Don't go anywhere, both of you. Please stay right there. This is "Toxic" by the band Major Moment. Let's hit it.
Dripping from the tip of your knife. Whatever I did never felt right. Whatever, I was never good enough. So toxic, you never let me breathe. I'm losing sleep to give
There we go.
I have to say, you just described my marriage in that song. So,
Sorry.
my failed marriage, anyways. I love it.
That was badass.
Check out Major Moment. They're on Octane. You can stream them on any musical platform. Check them out. Go to their Facebook page. Go to the YouTube channel. Stream them. That's all the time we got today. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on all podcasting platforms. Peace out. Rock on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, guys.
This is the Loud Spot outro by Nothing Short of Tragic. Is this all talk with no action? No. Is this my thoughts with distraction? No. Is this what I bought that's in fashion? Or is this the Loud Spot with Sebastian? Yes. Does Nothing Short of Tragic have his back again? Yes. Does everything that's good really have to end? Yes. A pin post has to pin show, so to get more episodes, make an order, this is over.